Hello, and welcome to our next value, which is the value of developing people. In the last few, you can see that they're all very people centric, and yeah, and they all are on top of each other because every value we do, uh, you know, has some significance in our lives. And if we can improve just a simple little step by taking the actions that we go through, if you can take that action and have some success, that every little bit you improve yourself. It might not be all about the same value, but a little bit in each every one, and before you know it, you look back and you've grown a fair bit. And at the moment you might think, I know what's the purpose of all of this. Yes, I've done some of these action steps, haven't done some of the others, but when you keep going back and forth and start doing them, you in, at the moment you might not see it, but in 6 months time you might look back and say, hey, I'm not where I used to be. I may be not where I ought to be, but I certainly am at a better place right now because I feel that I've developed myself. That's why my wife Artie and I have renamed this values-based leadership program as a sustainable personal development program, because that's really what it is. We develop ourselves. And the same in this following value of today, the value of developing people. Now, the will is more important than the skill. If you have a person's will, you can develop their potential. Now that is a powerful saying, but to develop means to become gradually fuller, larger, or better. It can apply to anything, including people, products, and attitudes. Now, to become uh, gradually larger, that doesn't mean that we grow because we're sitting too close to the fridge, especially during lockdown. But no, that we become larger in life, that we've grown within ourselves. That's why developing people, because we cannot help develop other people if we don't develop ourselves first. So, since life is a process, we are all involved in developing physically, mentally, and spiritually. And we are not born developed, but we are all born with the potential to develop. And that word potential is very important. And because this is also about personal growth, because people ask me, what is the best way to reach your potential? The best way to do that is to intentionally grow every single day. Personal growth is so important, and these values will help you to grow yourself personally before you can help developing other people. And that is exactly what leadership does as well. We lead ourselves first, we develop ourselves first, and then we develop, help and lead other people. And the world's best leaders, the most powerful leaders in not in power, but in impactful or influential leaders, they lift other people up, even past them. But that's a different story. That's about leadership. But there are two things that are very important in the outcome of any life. And the first one is that the environment in which you are born and nurtured. And the second one is the environment you choose for yourself. Now, you can analyze your life in terms of this environment. See, are the things around you helping you towards success, or are they holding you back? See, I heard a quote by somebody not so long ago, and I don't really, I can't remember, but there is only a certain amount of time we can blame our parents for the environment we were born in. See, we can't change that. But at the time, hello, but when you become aware of that, stop blaming other people, because when you're aware, you've got a choice. You can stay there or you can move, as you're not a tree. So yes, you can move. But a person's mind and our spirit is like a seed. See, within every seed is the potential for life, the potential for greatness. And if it is in the correct environment, it will grow and develop into its full potential. But likewise, you will grow and develop to your full potential if you choose the right environment. See, it's a bit like farming, I suppose. First of all, you can't sow potatoes and think you're going to get out um, corn. It's not happening. So you can only reap, you can only harvest what you sow. So that I mean, I'm going to do the value of sowing as well later on, which is also important. But another thing is, if you throw seeds in barren ground and it's not cultivated, and it's just dry sand like a desert, don't expect fruitful things to grow from it. And certainly if anything grows at all, don't expect it to grow quickly. So again, if you sow these seeds, you also need to nurture them. You need to guide, you need to support, you need to train, you need to mentor, you need to coach people. And we do all those kind of things as well. And it's so important, because if you want to develop people, you can't only sow the seeds, but you need to water those seeds regularly. And that takes support to a very different level. So developing people, some benefits of developing yourself and others, because of course, I said already, you need to develop yourself as well. What does your personal development plan look like? Your personal growth plan, if you like. Maybe you don't even know what one of them is. That's a discussion for, I've done a video series on the 15 invaluable laws of growth with action steps in order to make sure that you start taking action, and we talk into this kind of stuff. But yeah, here again, think about this. But one of the benefits is that you will grow and mature into your potential. Now, that is a powerful word, a potential. And we all have it. But how many of us have it lying dormant or are frustrated because we either don't know where we're going, we know where we should be going, but we're not going there. And those lead to frustration and procrastination and all kinds of things. The people who know where they're going and actually going there, that's the ones who are becoming successful or already are successful. Hope that makes sense. But this, you will grow and mature into your potential, and this will increase your sense of self-worth, your confidence, and propel you into greater achievements. That's what I just said. When you know where you're going and you're going there and you're into your potential, you, of course, become much more successful than you were in the past. But you can change from here. When you take certain steps from now, the future will be much better than the past. And as I said, for developing yourself and developing people, don't keep one or both feet in the past, because you won't get ever into the future with more success if you do that. It's like an anchor, and then trying to sail into the open sea when your anchor is still lying on the sea bottom somewhere in the middle of a harbor. Never going to happen. So, okay, the second benefit is that you will see the potential in others and continue to helping them fulfill that potential. See, this will add value to them and in turn add value to you. I hope that makes sense. But then there's some characteristics of a person who seeks development of self and others. Well, you help to create a good environment through living by values like positive attitude, honesty, restraint, and so many others, like all of these values. So it helps to create a good environment for characteristics of people who seeks personal development and that of others. And the second one is you recognize that your situation and success are created based on how you develop yourself and others. So it's in your hands, always. Your choice. We don't grow by chance, we grow by choice. And this is yet another choice. So there's two action steps you can take to develop yourself and others more and better. And the first one is examine the past to see if you need a shift in thinking or environment to reach your potential. We've talked into that already. You're not a tree, you can move. But if you know where you're at and it's not working for you, move. Create a different environment or walk into a different environment. The second one is look for resources to add value to yourself, like articles, seminars, books, and advice from people you admire and respect. Now, that's very powerful, because I've talked into this before, and if you've been with me in some of these values, and I'm going to do it again right now, because the late and brilliant Charlie Tremendous Jones, because he said everything was tremendous, he said there is three things that govern the rest of your life, that dictate the rest of your life as well. The things you hear, the things you read, and the people you associate with. So maybe you need to think about the things you hear first thing in the morning. Maybe you put on the news. Maybe at last thing at night, you put on the news. The first one that gives you a bad day, and the last one gives you a bad sleep. You need to change those kind of things into something more positive, so you get through the day more positive. The second one is the things you read. Do you read a newspaper from cover to cover? I have personally not bought a newspaper for more than 30 years. That's my personal choice, because I have a little bit more control of what goes in here, and it goes through there quite often as well. So can you read something more positive, a positive book or a success story or something more uplifting, a great article? Of course you can. The internet is full of it. It's your choice again. And the third one is a bit more painful. Some people, who do you surround yourself with? Les Brown always says, you are similar Or you're going to be the same as the 5 to 10 people you most closely and regularly associate with. And I'm not just talking about your close family that you're around, but who you associate with all the time. If the 5 to 10 people you associate with are broke, you will be broke as well. If they're negative, you're probably negative as well. So some of you might need to look at all three and might need to change one of these things, or all three, but that's a choice. As I say, we grow by choice, not chance. So my question is, what action step will you take to implement this? And if you actually take action on some of the stuff you've heard, maybe you need to change the things you read, the things you hear, the people you associate with, for you in order to develop yourself and other people better. It's all a choice, but I hope you got something out of this value, and I will see you in the next value. Take care.